Hey, you. Did you get your daily dose of Will Smith and Chris Rock memes today? Huh? Huh? Did you get your Will Smith and Chris Rock memes today? Hey, did you know that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock? Huh? Huh? Did you get your memes? All right, no, I'm just playing. Just playing. Welcome back, and today's going to be somewhat of a quicker video. I really just wanted to kind of put something out there for you. It's more like an update in the news that I thought was rather interesting. And all jokes aside, I know I mentioned the Chris Rock and Will Smith thing. This actually happened around the same time, a little bit afterwards. Basically, April 5th. The United States government, working with the Department of Intelligence Agency, the DIA, something like that. Not the CIA, but the DIA, as well as a few other government entities, they have been working on, brace yourself, UFO stuff, and a lot more than I think you would be led on to believe. And this may just be the tip of the iceberg, but who knows? So recently, around April 5th, they released over 1,500 pages of just documents going over some of these materials and some of these findings. And if you've been keeping up with any of this information about them kind of declassifying this stuff the past couple of years, a very ongoing thing has been said, which is that the government, one, they are confirming it. So at this point, if you're still kind of on the fence about it, I mean, you're behind the eight ball, I could think is what they say. I don't know. Anyways, you're behind. They definitely believe it's real. Now, whether or not there's little green men or grays or I don't know, whoever, Tupac for all I know, whoever, something's in there maybe, but we don't have a clue yet because apparently these things are so advanced that it's hard to even get near them unless they, of course, want us to get near them. So I'm basically just going to go over some of the findings that they talked about. Some of it's kind of freaky, and I do want to give a heads up as well. Like I said before, this is something that was worked on by multiple government entities. I believe ATIP, that's an acronym, of course, and it stands for like Advanced Aerial Threats or I don't know, something. So it's like AATIP coming live from the VIP. No, but ATIP, and then I think there's another one like OSAP, and then there's MUFON. Now, the first two I named that start with the letter A, I believe those are actually funded by the government with actual governmental personnel in those organizations. MUFON is like this separate thing where it's like, I want to say like a community-based thing, but it's still with top-notch people, okay? Not everyone in there is like some crazy uncle spurting out conspiracy theories, wearing tinfoil hats and what have you. It's actually a few bright minds in there. Quite a few, actually. A lot of doctors and scientists and, people with like physics and all that fancy hoo-ha who know a lot more than I do and can speak a lot more eloquently than I can. So now that we've kind of gotten the basis and the overview, and I feel like I've talked a lot, let's actually talk about the meaningful stuff like some of their findings. So inside these reports, there were 42 cases of medical injuries that had been occurred or inflicted from these UFOs. Also, there were an additional 300 medical files. However, these are unpublished, so I guess that means you just can't find them anywhere. I don't know how medicine works, but a lot of people are catching fades from UFOs apparently, which, if you remember, like I said, the government has always had this kind of concern of a threat, and even in the names of some of these, governmental organizations, they use the word threat when describing UFOs. So now the interesting thing is, according to this, it seems like some of the injuries that these people received were not necessarily due to the UFOs themselves trying to cause harm. It's just their very presence of people being near them is causing harm to just them being there, which is crazy. But yeah, we're gonna get into some of the illnesses, injuries, and things that people have inflicted. So right off the bat, believe it or not, it was actually a pretty long and lengthy list, but I'll spare you quite a bit of them because a lot of them were like pretty mild things. It was like some WebMD kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Like it would be something like insomnia or headaches, and it's like, oh my God, I got a headache. Have I been abducted? You know, like it was like this very kind of just run of the mill vague stuff. So I won't include a lot of that. I'll include more of the exotic ones that is like, okay, you don't hear that every day. So some of the things that people inflicted were brain damage, nerve damage, radiation burns, and also electromagnetic radiation from the actual propulsion units on the UFOs, which is interesting. So there is a case of a guy, I don't remember his name, but he's done some interviews, some podcasts, and I think maybe even a movie and a book has been inspired about this guy. But it's funny because now these new findings are really backing up the claims that he made like at this point, maybe like 30, 40 years ago. And I'll try to jump into his story really quickly and jump out to explain it. But basically, he was a guy just kind of hiking in the wilderness. That was his thing. And he came across this like large area of just like land. And there was like, I think, a hill. And he saw a UFO sitting on the hill. It wasn't like floating in the air. It was like actually on the ground, just chilling. And he didn't really know what to make of it at the time. He didn't think in his head, oh, this is a UFO. Oh my God, a flying saucer. He was just like, what is that? So he goes up to it, and like the door was actually open. And he tried to like look in, but he didn't walk in because he's like, I don't know what this is, so I'm not gonna, walk into it. But I'm trying to look in and kind of peek around the corner, see if I can see anything. He said he didn't see anybody inside or hear anything voice-wise or anything, but he saw a whole bunch of like lights and on like, consoles and whatnot. And then he said there was like a large bright light that started like just getting brighter and brighter. And then the door eventually he noticed was closing. So whenever the door was closing, he kind of took a couple steps back. So he noticed that something started spinning on the craft, on the UFO, and he noticed, like, he looked to his left and he sees these holes in like the side of it, and they look like, I'm assuming they were vents, because next, whenever the hole started coming towards him, and again, he said he couldn't hear anything, like the thing was basically completely silent, so he couldn't really hear anything. But when the holes got right in front of him, as soon as they got in front, they just boom, and they blasted him back, and he immediately like just flew and fell to the ground. So he falls to the ground, and he said it hit him so hard, and he just started immediately feeling different. So he said he started feeling dazed, like he started getting like doubled and blurry vision, and he was just kind of staggering, very disoriented. He couldn't really get his footing, but he was trying to like get away from it. And he's just stumbling, trying to get himself together, and he's trying to make it back. The unfortunate thing is, like I said, he was hiking and he's just really on foot for most of the trip. So there wasn't really, much he could just do. He couldn't just go right to a parking lot 50 yards away. So he had to go for quite some distance before he got back to civilization. So when he gets back to civilization and he starts getting medical treatment, they take his shirt off because he's complaining that he like feels something on his like chest or whatever. And he has the same pattern of the holes. They're like now burned into his body. So he has these just nasty holes kind of like drilled into his body a little bit. I'm pretty sure he's bleeding and bruised up. The freaky thing about it though is the holes never went away, and the medical staff, they could never explain that. And they tried, they were trying to, poke holes in his logic, because they were like, okay, this guy says a flying craft did this to him. Like, what is he talking about? So they tried to come in as skeptics, but they didn't have any medical explanation as to how he got the holes. I guess until today, or April 5th at this point. But yeah, it seems like that could actually be somewhat related. So just to name a few other ones, there were heart palpitations. Of course, I believe I said insomnia, night terrors, and a very interesting one, which they said is like, if you've ever been laying in the bed, I guess, I'm trying to figure out how to describe it, laying in the bed and you feel like you're levitating, or either ascending in the bed or descending back into your bed, could mean that maybe you got scooped up at one point and that's your body just having this reoccurring experience in your brain. Or maybe you are getting abducted again, I don't know. But yeah, apparently that's a side effect or thing that's in the medical records. Also, like I said earlier, there were separate groups, right? Working on this, some in the government, some independent. Well, there were also reports included in these findings of the independent researchers as well. They go by MUFON. Don't remember what that stands for, but it's MUFON, and UFO is UFO, N is network. I think it's Mutual UFO Network, something like that. Anyway, so their findings were even more weird, and hey, take this if you want to, if you believe in this. This was nutty to me, so swallow this pill. So the side effects that they said were the most exotic of side effects, which were, I don't know if these were medical records or if these were just interviews they did with people, so don't hold me to whether or not, who this came from. But the side effects were people experiencing ESP, which is what I said I was going to cover. I'm going to talk about it in future videos, which is also another thing making its way back. But ESP stands for extrasensory, I think, perception. Basically psychic powers. So they're saying that side effects is that people are starting to gain psychic powers or enhanced psychic powers, such as telepathy, teleportation, levitation, and a few other things that they used to not have. Listen, I'm just reading like the documents, all right? So, but this has to be the oh my God, this is the cherry on top. This is the craziest, nuttiest thing I heard out of this, and this is what I had to make a video for. So one of the craziest things that they put in the report is these UFOs are now a statistic for unaccounted pregnancies. Yeah, so, yeah, these UFOs are now a statistic for unaccounted pregnancies. That's all I got on that part. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else you want me to say. Can you say something to me? I don't know. But, yeah, again, like take these reports, I guess, with a grain of salt. Then again, I don't know, man. If you're trying to get out of child support or something, maybe just say UFO did it. I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna hold up in a court of law. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyways, you know what? You didn't hear that advice from me. Scratch that from the record. Another thing that was very, very strange about some of these documents is now we know that the government actually has classifications. So, and the craziest thing of this, they have classifications for what they call anomalous behavior. So yeah, I'm just gonna try to get into some of that a little bit. Pardon me in advance, I may be looking down at my cellular device because I really want to make sure I get these codes right, and I want to make sure I explain them properly. This is where it gets weird. So you can actually find some of the list. I don't know if it's a complete list, but you can at least find some of the list of these actual classifications and codes that I'm about to go over. So, give me a second. Here we go. Okay, so for example, if we're working in the government together and I say, hey, we need to go out to, I don't know, Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. Looks like we got a Class AN3. Class AN3 means, I can't believe I'm saying this, encounters with ghosts, yetis, spirits, elves, and other mythological or legendary entities. Anyways, so moving on. Let's say I say, hey, we have a case of a Class AN4 downtown. We need to go jump on it. that would mean that there is a near-death experience and or religious miracle. So the miracle thing is somewhat interesting. The very first video I did for this channel, I believe back in January, I highly advise you go look that up because it was a pretty interesting video. I kind of dug deep on that one, but it was about the miracle of Fatima. And you should look at that one because that was also a very, very weird, unexplainable case. If you have anything to debunk that, please do, because I don't like that case being real. Please debunk that. Also, there are classifications for UFO sightings specifically. I think it was 2 at least. There's like one that goes by close encounters. I think another one is something else, can't remember, but yeah, check this out. So, yep, actually this is it, CE. CE stands for close encounter. So let's say I say, hey, we got a code CE4. Well, that means you have encountered an alien and it results in either permanent psychological injuries or death. Heavy stuff there, heavy stuff. So, you know, we talk about these kind of strange and exotic type of files that the government declassifies from time to time, right? So tell me, what do you make of all of this? Do you think it's a whole bunch of malarkey? To me, it's pretty crazy. Like, this is one of the craziest things that I think I have stumbled upon this year. The only other thing that I could think of that was this crazy was the revelation of Will Smith and Chris Rock going on a date. Man, I forgot that happened on that episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Boy, I love that show, man. You know what? I might do a rewatch pretty soon. But other than that, yeah, how do you feel about these, documents? Like, do you feel that this is a whole bunch of BS? Maybe to be a disinformation tactic? Maybe to waste time and resources of another country who thinks that this stuff is legit, just to make sure that we can throw them off the trail of what we're really getting into, whatever that is. I don't know, but whatever they got going on in the government. So tell me, what do you think? Do you think this is legit? Do you think it's real? Do you think they're holding back? Do you think that this is just the tip of the iceberg and it gets crazier out there? Let me know your thoughts down below. Also, I want to say thank you to you guys. I'm probably going to say it for the next few videos, but the channel has been doing numbers the past week or so. I don't know what's happening. I'm starting to freak out a little bit about it, but yeah, man, we've gained 100 subs, which, that's nothing to big timers, but snowball effect, just kind of gets bigger and bigger. But I want to say, yes, I am obviously, and blatantly, definitely sponsoring these videos so they can kind of reach out to bigger audiences. I don't know if you guys know, but the YouTube algorithm is not easy to deal with, man. Your videos will get lost into a black hole. But here goes the thing though. I may be paying money just to get these videos in front of you, but you guys are the ones that are making the conscious decision to actually stick around. So thanks. Seriously, you guys are putting likes on the videos. I don't know if you're sharing it, but if you are, that's dope. And more than importantly, you're subscribing, which means that you guys want to be here. So I can't thank you enough for that. So it definitely motivates me to come up with new and try to make more fresh topics. I got a few down the road, and I'm trying to be as creative as possible with the conspiracy theory icebergs. Like I said, you guys could go anywhere else. You could go look at Dantavius. You could go look at Wendigoon. You could go look at Fox Akimbo. You could go anywhere for, an iceberg. But I want to make the most of your time, and I want to make sure that whenever I do these deep dives, it's something that you may not have heard on one of the previous channels. So again, I think I've said it the 4th time now, maybe 3rd, 4th, but thank you. Seriously. Thank you guys for pulling up. Yeah, so I'm trying to drop this video today, hours from now, in the future, because I'm recording it today. Today is the 17th, I think. It's Sunday. Happy Easter. But as soon as I get done doing that, I immediately have to go to work. The Conspiracy Theory Iceberg Tier 3 will be dropping on the bestest of days this Wednesday, April 20th. I don't know why people like April 20th so much. I don't know what, that day is all about. I don't know why I would drop a video for a certain demographic for that. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys. I'm rambling at this point. Y'all have been awesome. See you in the next one.